As an entrepreneur, you've probably been told that if you want to achieve your goals and reach success, then you need to hustle and grind harder. You need to work 24 hours a day. You need to start doing crack, start doing caffeine, like all this stuff. But I'm here to tell you that that's actually not what you need to do in order to start reaching your goals and actually make meaningful progress on your business or your life or whatever you're trying to achieve. And in fact, it's a lot simpler than that. You don't need to start drinking caffeine. You don't need to start doing all this crazy affirmations, meditation, start doing rain dances naked on a Tuesday morning. You can just do the exact steps I'm going to outline for you in this video today. And it's a lot simpler than what it is made out to be by all these internet gurus and everything else out there. So you're probably thinking two things. Number one, who's this weird looking, bald-headed, 15-year-old looking kid on my screen? And number two, why should I trust you? If you don't know me, my name's Marcus. Basically, I help entrepreneurs fix their mindset so they can triple their productivity and increase their revenue without working less or being stressed out. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can start to triple your productivity, start to achieve your goals, and start to actually achieve the things that you've been telling everyone that you're going to do. Yet, you're doing the work, you're taking the actions, and yet you're not making any progress. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly why that is. I'm going to show you how to fix it, and I'm going to display it all in a beautiful little artistic painting for you. So you can screenshot it, you can put it up on your wall, you can put it on your fridge, whatever. And I'm just going to get right into it. So one of the first points as to why a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with making meaningful progress in their business despite doing lots of work is going to be this thing here. And I want you to pay attention because I'm going to start with the story and it's all going to come together at the end, okay? So let's say that, there's hang on 1 second, guys. All right, here we are. So let's say that, there's a beautiful woman, right? This is her, hang on, I'll make her look prettier in a second, guys. But let's say this is you, right? And you can be a man or a woman, whatever you are watching this video. Let's say that this is you. And let's say this is, your beautiful woman that you're trying to attract, right? Woman. All right. Hang on 1 second, guys. You want to see how I make stick figures attractive? Boom. Done. Okay. So this is, your beautiful woman that you're after. Let's say that you are an attractive or you're just a regular bachelor. You're a regular guy and you're looking to get into the dating market because you're feeling a little bit lonely. Okay. So here you are going about your merry way. You're talking with all your friends, what do I desire in a woman? What do I want her to look like? What do I want her to act like? Certain things like this. And you're all talking about her physical features. Oh, she's got to have this. She's got to be like this. She's got to wear this, stuff like that. So here you are talking to all your friends. You're having a grand old time. And then one day, you are walking along the street or you're going to the movies, something like that. And you come across this beautiful woman here, right? And on the outside, she's everything that you've ever dreamed of, okay? Without getting into details, she's got the physical attributes that you like. She's got the red lipstick. She displays herself in a certain way that you find attractive. And you go up to her, you ask her out, and surprisingly, she says yes, okay? So you're feeling good about yourself. She's this attractive woman. All your friends are going to be interested in her too. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel like the man. You start going out with this woman, and you genuinely feel like the top dog. You start showing pictures of her to all your friends and they're like, oh my God, she's so attractive, bro. How'd you land her? Oh my God, you're feeling good about yourself. Things are starting to go great without getting into details. You're developing that relationship and it's going really well. After a few weeks, however, something changes. Even though she's physically attractive on the outside, even though she's everything that you and your friends have ever dreamed about in a woman and you're the guy that's finally got her, you start to realize that even though she's attractive on the outside, she's not that attractive on the inside, right? Maybe she doesn't have the same values as you. Maybe she swears a lot or she has like a really bogan Australian accent like mine. And you just go, wow, I'm not really attracted to that. Maybe you're trying to work on your business or on yourself or on the gym. And then she just wants to, she wants to get drunk every weekend. She wants to blaze up. And you're like, I don't really, that's an alcohol bottle, by the way, guys. You're like, I don't really find that attractive anymore. Here you are though. All this time, you thought you were attracted to this woman. You've been chasing her. All your friends said she was the most beautiful woman ever. And on the outside, it's true. Yet as you start to know her, as you start to work with her, or spend time with her rather, you realize that she's not actually what you want on the inside. This is the exact same with business, okay? So a lot of the time we can start chasing things because on the outside they look attractive and all our friends, all of society says that they are exactly what we want, okay? This could be 10K per month, this could be the Lambo, this could be smoking the cigars in Dubai with Iman Gaji or whoever else, right? On the outside, these things look attractive. We can think, oh yeah, I want to achieve that. This is why I'm getting into online business. I want to get the Lambo. You know, you do all the vision boards. You've got the Lambo. You've got the hot chick. You've got the cigars, like whatever you guys are interested in, right? I know this is what I chased when I first started. And the funny thing is that even though on the outside, these things are socially attractive, even though on the outside, I thought that I wanted these things, when I started to get closer to these things, when I started to move towards them, I realized that A, I wasn't actually making any meaningful progress in my business, but more importantly, B, the progress that I was making, it wasn't enjoyable, okay? I was doing the daily action steps, I was working on my business, but because I had a faulty view of what I actually wanted, every single step and of the journey of the way, you know what I mean? Every single step I took, every single action I took, it was never that satisfying because I knew internally that it wasn't aligned with what I was trying to reach and the things that I was trying to attract, okay? So let's bring up this woman again, right? I'm not going to draw the red lipstick this time. It's too much artistic effort, guys. Let's just say this is the woman, right? She looks a little bit sad now, but that's okay. So let's say that's the woman and this is you, right? Now, on the outside, we can chase the woman. We can think, oh my God, she's everything that I've ever wanted. Everyone on the internet is saying this is what you need to find in a woman. Or your friends are saying, oh my God, bro, she's got to have this. She's got to have, this. Like, they're saying all these things that are socially attractive. Yet once you experience these things and once you get closer to them, you realize that they're actually not fulfilling you. And the things that do fulfill you are the internal aspects, okay? And the easiest way I can put a name to this is 1, let's think of the woman as your goals. And 2, let's think of yourself or what you internally desire as your values, okay? So this is really important to understand. A lot of people will have a goal of, I want to get the Lambo, and then there's a Dubai chick and she's got the fake boobs and all this stuff, right? They're going to think that that's what they desire because it's what they see on the internet. It's what they see is socially acceptable. They see all their favorite influencers and the cash and smoke and shit. And like, they see all this stuff and they think, oh, wow, that's really attractive to me. But internally, those are not their truest values. They've just been conditioned into those values because that's what they think is, that's what they think is attractive and that's what they think they really need to get. Internally, though, that might not be what they're actually attracted to. Internally, they might value, let's say, community, okay? They might genuinely want to work towards their dream life of, building a strong family, right? And that would be tied to one of their values of community. But if you're not careful along your entrepreneurial journey, you can start to chase things that aren't aligned to your internal values and what you're actually trying to achieve. And instead you can be chasing phantoms of what everyone else says is socially acceptable. And in reality, you're never going to be fulfilled. You're never going to do your most powerful work. If your goals are not aligned to your values, you can start to chase things that you believe are socially acceptable, but in reality, they're not actually what you really want. Kind of like how you're chasing the attractive girl, she looks good on the outside. When you start to get closer to her, you realize, oh, she doesn't really have that attribute that I like. We actually don't get along that well. When I spend time with her, I don't feel energized, I don't feel happy, I don't feel fulfilled. I actually feel drained. I feel like I'm wasting my time hanging out with this girl, yet I stay with her because it's the socially accepted thing. This is the exact same in business. So a lot of people will have goals, right? And they believe that their goals are something like, 10K per month.
Yeah.
The thing is, you probably don't care about 10K per month. It's actually quite rare that people genuinely care about money, right? Even the notion of goals themselves, humans don't chase goals, we chase values, okay? Like, no one actually cares about seeing $10,000 per month in their bank account. I mean, I'm sure there's probably people out there that like seeing the number go up, they gain a little bit of, fulfillment from it, but it's most likely not tied to the number itself. It's what the number brings and the lifestyle that will bring you once you've achieved that certain amount of money. So for example, a lot of people will chase 10K per month or they'll chase the Lambo. Let's use the Lambo as an example. A lot of people will chase the Lamborghini and they'll think, that's what I want. This is what I want. I want to ride around in Dubai. I want the hot girl with the fake boobs on my side. This is the life. This is the life I want to live. The reality is you probably don't want the Lambo. You probably don't give two shits about the Lambo. It's actually what the Lambo brings you and how it makes you feel internally. And more importantly, the values it fulfills that are a part of you, okay? So it's not so much about the Lambo. It's about what values does that fulfill within me? So an example of a value that would be tied to the Lambo would be status, would be authority, would be leadership, maybe, okay? It's when you get the Lambo that you fulfill these values that you feel satisfied. It's not so much about getting the car or getting the money or getting the woman or whatever it is that you're after, smoking cigars with Iman Gaji. It's more about what values are you trying to fulfill with that. And the thing is, you actually do not chase the Lambo, you chase the fulfillment of leadership, of autonomy, of status, of authority, right? And it's only once you fulfill these values that you will feel successful. Simultaneously, if you're chasing a goal that is not aligned to your internal values, you will never reach it because your body and brain does not want to reach something that it internally does not desire, okay? So let's say, for me at least, let's say that my goal was a Lamborghini, right? I know internally that's not aligned with my values. How do I know that? Because I've done some work on my values. I'm going to show you how to figure out your values in this video so you can start to align your life, your daily actions, and your goals towards that. But let's say that, you know, my goal was a Lamborghini. Let me draw this for you guys. Oh my God. Actually, this is quite fire. No, this is sick. I've clutched it up, guys. I've clutched it up. All right. So let's say, and this is like a top-down view, guys, in case you're a little bit, oh, that's fire. I'm such a good artist, okay? So let's say this is the Lambo that I desire, right? I know when I first started on my entrepreneurial journey, I was like, yeah, I want the Lambo. I want to go to Dubai. I want to do all these things. When I first started, I was like, I'm going to reach these things. I want to do the work. I want to grind every single day. I want to hustle. The thing is, it didn't matter how much work I did because internally, I do not give two shits about a Lambo, but I'd been socially conditioned into thinking that was the case. And before I knew my values, that being autonomy, that being confidence, that being love, that being community, before I knew these things, I thought that it's what I thought, you know, it was a Lambo that I wanted. I thought it was the 10K per month that I wanted. But it didn't matter how many tasks I did. It didn't matter how many hours I put into my day. I would never make meaningful progress on my work because internally it did not align with those values of love, community, confidence, autonomy, growth, etc. Right? It was only once I started to align my goals to those values that I started to make meaningful progress on my work, that I actually started to put in the work necessary. And that's not about, you know, doing more hours in the day. It's about the intensity and the focus and the level of attention you're giving to this work and the level of love you're putting into this work that really matters, okay? It's not about the hours worked. It's about how much love, how much intensity, how much intention you can put into your work hours that will yield the highest results. So during this time when I wanted the Lambo and I didn't know my values, I would put 10, 12-hour days in. I'd be like, yeah, I'm hustling, I'm grinding. But the thing is, I would hate my life. I wasn't actually doing meaningful work. I was wasting time. I was checking my phone here and there. At the end of the day, I felt drained, but I was like, oh no, it's because I'm hustling. It's because I'm grinding. All this bullshit that's been made up by all these gurus, right? I thought it's what I wanted, yet when I was chasing it, I didn't feel fulfilled. And internally, I never reached it. And I'd self-sabotage. I'd tear things down. I wouldn't align my life to this goal because internally, I didn't want it. It's only once I figured out that I wanted autonomy, love, growth, community, that I started to manufacture goals around that. I thought, okay, how do I achieve autonomy? How do I fulfill this internal value of mine? Well, I know it's traveling. It's meeting up with beautiful people that live at this house. I'm sure you saw James in the background before. You know, my value of community. How do I start building an online community with a job like this, right? How do I start meeting people in real life that are aligned to my internal values and are aligned to, you know, what I believe, what I'm trying to achieve, getting similar people around you, right? It's only once I started to make these my goals rather than the Lambo, rather than the 10K per month, that I actually started to work a lot harder and I started to achieve these goals because I was aligned internally to what I was trying to achieve externally. I hope this is making sense for you guys. So what is the answer to all this, Marcus? You're probably a little bit confused right now. You're like, what is this weird little kid talking about? Basically, it's to align all your values in your life to not just your goals, but also your daily actions. This way, every single day that you live will be fulfilling. And when every single day that you live is fulfilling, you are naturally going to reach your goals because your goals are just manifestations of your daily actions, which are manifestations of your values. So let me write this down for you. So on the macro level, you have your goals, right? Now, a lot of people will start with their goals and they'll think, you know, 10K per month, Lambo, I was going to say Dubati. What's it called? Bugatti. Random shit like this. And that's not to say that you can't have these goals. I'm sure there's someone out there that's watching this video and people that exist in the universe that genuinely want these things, okay? And I don't doubt that. But the truth is that they only really want these things, and they can only really achieve these things because they're aligned to their internal values, okay? Someone like Andrew Tate, I don't know whether he actually likes his cars or whatever, but he's achieved that lifestyle because I'm sure he has an internal value of authority, being better than other people, leadership, status, stuff like that, right? It's what he holds as important. But internally, if you don't hold that as important to you, then you will never reach it because it's not truly what you actually are trying to reach, right? So on the macro level, we've got the goals. Then we've got the daily actions to reach that goal, right? A lot of people will only go here. This is surface level. They're like, I want the thing, I want the thing, I want the blah, 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 blah. They'll just have the vision of what they want in their mind, and then they'll kind of work towards it and they'll never get anywhere. Level 2 is the daily actions. People will think, okay, I want the 10K per month. What are the daily actions I need to do in order to reach that? Maybe it's sending, outreach messages every day. Maybe it's making YouTube content. Maybe it is building my business, etc. Right? That is level 2 ways of thinking. Level 3, which is, I'm going to make another video on this. You don't need to worry about it right now. Oh, hell no. What am I writing? Beliefs, okay? This is some mindset-based stuff. A lot of people will be like, okay, who do I need to become mentally in order to reach this goal, okay? So it's not just about aligning yourself on the physical plane, which is your daily actions. It's about aligning yourself on the mental plane, thinking, who do I need to become in order to make this happen? How do I need to think? Who do I need to interact with? What thoughts do I hold currently that are holding me back? What do I believe about success, about money, about beliefs themselves, right? You can have beliefs about beliefs. And if you hold a belief that beliefs don't dictate your reality, then you are not going to, then you're always going to be ruled by your beliefs. Okay, I hope that made sense for you. Regardless, it's not that important right now. So that is level 3 of thinking, right? Level 3, level 2, I think it's level 2 actually. A lot of people will go here and they'll think, oh my God, I've cracked it. I've mastered the code. I've mastered my mindset. I'm now aligned to what I'm trying to achieve. Yet on the inside, they're doing all the work. They're taking all the daily actions. They've tuned their beliefs to be accurate to what they're trying to achieve in the long run. Yet they don't really make progress. They don't feel fulfilled. They don't feel happy by their work, and they can't put in that extra effort necessary in order to reach their goals, okay? So what's level 3 or 4? Whatever we're up to, you guys know. Well, level 4 is values. Your values are an emotional driver that is internally within you that is going to dictate every single action you take in life. You cannot take actions that are misaligned with your values. In terms of how values start, I'd love to tell you exactly how they come about. I'm sure you can change them, but these are very, very deep-seated, so much more than that which is mental, okay? Now, a lot of things in this life are mental. Again, if you're entirely aligned on the mental plane, you're probably going to believe, everything is logical, everything is mental. But the reality is, you can say things consciously that do not align with your values. You can do things physically that do not align with your values, and this dissonance will always cause you to suffer, and it will always cause you to feel unfulfilled in your work, right? You will know your values because it won't just be like something clicks in your head. It will be a feeling you get in your body, and it will feel amazing, okay? In terms of figuring out your values, we're going to go into this in a second, but once you've aligned yourself to your values, you will then always feel fulfilled in your daily actions, in your goals, in your beliefs, in everything that you do, because it is the strongest driver of what you're actually trying to achieve in this world. So again, examples of some of my values are autonomy, all right? So the other day I was working at home, in my home in Australia, and I was working in the office in my parents' house, and I was like, I'm just not really feeling fulfilled. I'm not feeling happy. I feel like I'm not really making progress on my business. I don't feel good, okay? Now, normally, if I didn't know my internal values, I would have went, okay, maybe it's my business that's not making me fulfilled. Okay, let me change a bunch of things. Let me change my YouTube videos around. Let me change this, change that, okay? That's what I would have done if I was aligned on just the mental plane, or even then, I was aligned just on the physical plane. Because I know my internal values and I've done the practices that I'm going to show you in this video soon, I thought, okay, well, what are my values and how are they not being fulfilled in my daily actions and in my long-term goals? I thought, okay, well, one of my values is autonomy, yet here I am sitting in this crusty-ass computer chair in my parents' room, and I'm not really fulfilling that drive of doing what I want, where I want, with who I want, when I want, right? I'm kind of in this room, I'm working 8 hours a day, the light doesn't really work properly, it's kind of cold, I don't want to be here right now. That's not fulfilling my goal of autonomy. So I thought to myself, okay, how can I fulfill this goal of autonomy in my daily action? How can I fulfill this value of autonomy in my daily actions so that each daily action starts to become fulfilling to me, and therefore I start to get more growth out of each daily action and more fulfillment out of each daily action. Let me take a drink, guys. So I thought about this and I thought, well, how could I fulfill this value of autonomy? Well, it would be through travel. It would be through meeting people that I genuinely want to meet. It would be, back in the day, if you guys are familiar with my channel, the videos aren't up there anymore, but I used to film videos outside all the time. Yet here I was, and I realized that I was filming in my room. I had all these lights, they were killing my eyes, and I thought, I don't like this. I like being outside in nature. I like hearing the birds. I like the fresh air. That is autonomy to me. That makes me feel like I'm doing what I want, where I want, with who I want, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, okay, how do I start to fulfill this value? Well, number one, I think I want to go traveling again. I've started to do, when I was in Thailand, as some of you might know, I was actually doing my best work, even though I was working less hours. Why is that? It's because I was aligned to my values and I was feeling fulfilled with my work. That because I was feeling fulfilled, my intensity was much higher and I was actually getting things that I wanted to done. So I thought, okay, well, I think I want to start traveling again. Where can I go that's further going to make me feel better and further aligned to my values? Well, another one of my values is community. I knew that this event was coming up where I can meet guys of a similar mindset under, if you guys are familiar with First Man channel, there's a house project thing that you can do. You can live at this house for so many days a year. And I thought that would be sick. Not only do I get to be in a small community of guys that think similar to me, they're all doing online business, etc. More importantly, I get to travel, but more importantly, I'm in an environment that is not cold like it was in Australia, right? I was fulfilling that value of feeling free, feeling not restricted by the weather, not restricted by the room that I was in back home, not restricted by a bunch of other things where I felt like I wasn't fulfilling that value of autonomy. That being said, when I start to fulfill this value of autonomy, that's when I start to make more meaningful progress. That's when I start to, and it sounds almost silly, but that's when I start to get more clients in my business. That's when I start to show up on YouTube videos feeling better. That's when I start to express myself more in natural conversations with people I enjoy. And because of that, I get granted business opportunities and make certain connections and stuff like that, right? So when you start to align yourself, not just with the physical, not just with the mental, but with the emotional and the deep value level, that's when you start to make true meaningful progress, because that's when you are most aligned with what you internally desire and you're not trying to bullshit yourself through all the social conditioning, all the advertising, all the cultural conditioning as well that you've experienced throughout your life. So you're probably curious, Marcus, how do I actually find my values, right? How do we do this? To begin with, when you don't know your values, you do want to actually start from the level of goals. So I know I just told you that, you want to start from values, then up to beliefs, then up to actions, then up to goals, right? It's a B and an A, if you guys didn't notice. But you actually want to start with your goals if you don't know your values, because your values will stem from your goals. And if they don't, you will quickly realize that the goals you currently have are not aligned to your values. This might be a little bit scary for some of you, because you might have a goal of 10K per month or Lambo or blah, 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 blah. And you might realize in this video, when you start to do this practice of thinking about your values, you might realize, hey, I feel like I've been chasing something that I don't actually want. Now, although this is probably going to make you question reality, you're going to have a little existential crisis for a bit, you're actually going to realize, oh shit, this is actually a really good thing, because now I'm fully aligned to what I feel internally. And you'll quickly realize that when you start to align your goals to your values, how fulfilling work can actually be. How you can work, 10, 12-hour days. And again, it's not about the amount of hours worked, it's about the intensity. But you'll quickly realize once you're aligned to your values, you can put in these massive hour days if you want, and you'll feel fulfilled. You'll feel energized by the end of the day, because it's aligned to what you internally desire. It's not just what's up here, okay? So first of all, I want you to think about your goal that you hold currently. Whatever that might be, there's no right or wrong answer, because it's something that is subjective. It's something that is currently meaningful to you on the mental plane, right? So I want you to just maybe pause this video or think along with me now. What do I actually want? What have I been working towards for the past, few days, months, years, etc., right? What do I actually want? What is my goal? It might look like 10K per month. It might look like I just want a happy family. It might just look like, I want to be the best social media marketing agency in the world. I want to be, etc., right? I want you to think about these things and just come up with that goal. It doesn't have to be too small or too big. It can be anything. Once you've got that goal, let's continue. Now that you have that goal, I want to ask you a question. This question is really important, and it's, why is that important to you? Okay? Now, I want you to write this down. I genuinely want you to take this serious, because this is going to save you a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of heartache if you do this practice properly, okay? So, why is that goal important to you? Gonna make it green so it's nicer looking. Why is it important to you? Write it down right now. Let's continue. Now that you've got that answer, I'm going to ask you another question. And that question is, why is that important to you? Okay? So you probably said, let's say you wanted the best social media marketing agency in the world. Let's say I said, why is that important to you, Jerry, if that's your name? And you said, well, because I believe that social media marketing is the key to ensuring business owners get more clients, and that makes me happy because I know how hard it is to get clients. Okay. Then I say to you, okay, Jerry, why is getting clients important to you? Well, because it means more money and it means I feel safe working in my business. Okay. And now I'm going to ask you another question, Jerry. And that question is, why is that important to you? Why is maybe getting clients important to you? Why is feeling safe in your business important to you, right? So if it wasn't obvious, we get an answer, then we ask, why is that important to you again? Then we ask, why is that important to you again, to that answer we just got. And we go down the line, right? So why do you want to feel safe in your business, Jerry? Oh, because at a young age, I really struggled to feel safe in my family home. My parents were always struggling with money, and I didn't really feel safe unless we had money. So now that I think about it, I actually really value money. Hopefully it's not too windy, guys. I really value money, and I really value the safety that it brings, okay? And then I'm going to say to you, this is another question, and no, it's not what you're thinking. It's, what will having that thing do for you, okay? So if you had that safety, Jerry, what would that mean for you? What would that do for you? Okay, well, when I have that safety, then I'll feel more free to travel the world. Okay, Jerry, now we're going to go again. Why is that important to you? As you can see, obviously, I don't want to implant any ideas with you, especially if you are a social media marketing agency. Apply this to your own individual business scenario or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. But there's two questions I want you to continuously ask yourself until you find repeated words showing up consistently. The two questions are, why is that important to you? The second question is, what will having that thing do for you, right? Ideally, you want to write this down on a document. You're just going to spam. You're just going to write. It might take you an hour. I would expect it takes you at least an hour. And you want to do this with multiple different goals if you have them. So one, it might be getting a girlfriend. One might be becoming a social media marketing expert, blah, 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 blah. You're going to have different goals in your life. And I want you to ask these two questions for each individual goal. When you do that, you're going to consistently see words that show up again and again and again. In Jerry's example that I made up, it might be safety, right? He was like, okay, I want to feel safe because when I have money, then I can feel safe. And then I was like, well, what does safety do for you, Jerry? And then he's like, well, it will allow me the ability to travel the world. And I really like experiences. Now that I think about it, I really value experiences, okay? What do you mean by experiences, Jerry? Oh, well, experiences is like connecting with other people and really, being in that community, okay? Now, there's a few things that showed up in that example right there. And if you were writing that down, you would have seen multiple different words show up. One of them would have been community, safety, fulfillment, experiences, etc., right? These are your internal values that you want to start to align your goals to, right? So say, for example, you're currently chasing the Lamborghini. If you're not actually interested in the Lamborghini and you figure out that all your internal goals are like love, community, fulfillment, etc., if you find out that these are your values, you're probably going to quickly realize, oh shit, a Lamborghini doesn't actually fulfill that. This is why I'm not really making progress in my business. This is why I'm not really feeling fulfilled with my day-to-day work. It's because it's not aligned to what I'm actually trying to achieve internally. It's not what my emotional and soul, if you will, is actually after, okay? Yeah, on the mental plane, I want the Lambo, I want the girls to look at me, blah, 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 blah. But internally, I actually don't give a shit. It's not what I want, and that is the reason as to why you may be struggling with your business currently. Another thing I want to quickly mention with you is that if you're having trouble with this activity, I want you to just give it some time, okay? So just imagine this is your brain. I know it's not the best picture, but whatever. Brain, right? Your brain, specifically your mind and your subconscious mind, absolutely hates open loops. If you can ask your brain questions, it will always deliver an answer despite how true or how congruent it is with your internal values. But the thing is, when we're trying to figure out our values, if you ask your brain a question like, why is that important to me? Why do I actually want that? What will having that do for me? Don't force an answer. Just sit, and you'll be surprised at what shows up. You'll be surprised at the interesting answers you get, and just take note of your internal bodily sensations when you're answering these questions. You'll quickly realize that, oh, I realize that I kind of value safety. I just got kind of a nice feeling in my body. I kind of feel like, oh, like that. Yeah, if I had some safety right now, that word sounds really good to me. It sounds really fulfilling. It sounds really good internally. It energizes me, okay? That's a good sign that you are aligned with your values, right? If you find certain words and they bring up a certain vision in your mind or an image, or they just make you feel some type of way that is good, that is a good sign that you're aligned to your values there. Because again, it's that internal good feeling that is going to drive you. It's going to keep you pushing forward in the days where you're not feeling fulfilled, where you feel like you're not making any progress, and it's going to keep you pushing forward even when you don't feel like it. All right, so for the second out of 3 parts of this video, we're going to go into a new topic that is somewhat related to the last one, but it's going to see your business from a different angle that's going to help you massively, okay? So I have a question for you. If working hard was the key to success, then why aren't people like tradesmen, janitors, etc. rich, right? I know you're probably thinking, oh, Marcus, what a stupid thing. It's because, because society, or it's because, the jobs don't pay that much. And that is true. But more importantly, why is there certain individuals out there that can work 20 hours a week on their coaching business, but they'll make like 100K a month, right? This is a thing online. You can look it up. It's not uncommon to see these days, right? How could that be? If working hard is the key to success, then how could there be people out there making that kind of money, yet they don't work that much? They don't work that hard, okay? Well, it's simply because 0 times 100 does not equal 0. Or sorry, it does equal 0, right? It does not actually matter how many hours you work. If you are not doing meaningful work, and again, I realize now what I've said, if you're a janitor, or if you're a tradesman, or if you're just a working class person, you're exempt from this example now, okay? You're definitely a hardworking individual, and you are definitely doing meaningful work that contributes to society. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's not true. But a lot of people out there will think that it's only, the hours that they work that matters. Because of this, they will consistently beat a dead horse and work hours doing low-level activities or doing things that aren't aligned to what they're truly trying to achieve internally with their values. And because of that, they'll never actually make any progress on their business, because once again, it does not matter how many hours you put in. It matters about what you are actually doing, okay, in the time that you are using. So a lot of people will also see entrepreneurship like this, right? Let me draw this up for you guys, okay? So let's say that you have $1,000 to spend on a brand new car. Your last car, it broke down, and you've only got $1,000 from your last car that is going to, that you can spend to buy a new car, right? Once again, guys, let's draw some cars. I know you guys like my drawings. All right. So let's say you've only got $1,000, and let's say that you go on Facebook Marketplace and you find some shitty little shitbox Hyundai that's all rusted and it doesn't really work, but it's going for $1,000. So you immediately think, okay, well, that's it. That's the car I can get. I've only got $1,000. That's it. That's the car I got to get. Yeah, it looks all right on the outside. I'm sure it'll do the trick. I'm sure it's not a big deal. Although, as you're about to buy the $1,000 shitbox, you stumble across another ad for a sexy little Honda Civic. Look, it's even got a sunroof. you stumble across a Honda Civic and it's going for 15 grand. And you think, oh, that's a cool car, but I've only got $1,000. That's all I can afford, right? So you kind of scroll past it and you're like, oh, whatever, let me buy this shit box for $1,000, right? So you go to do that, you buy this Hyundai, and then as you're going to work the next day in this new car, it's not new, it's only, it's been ran through. You drive to work in this car, and then suddenly you break down, okay? Oh shit, you're driving along, boom. Black smoke coming out, and you're like, oh, I hate my life, right? What's going on? So you get out of the car, you look at the engine, it's all hot, it's all broken, maybe a wheel's gone, you're like, oh my God. God damn, now I got to call up the mechanic and I don't really have any money. I'm going to have to, do some afterpay shit. I'm going to have to call up someone and try and get some money out of them. Okay, cool. So you do that, you pay for the mechanic, you put it on afterpay, whatever. And then you think, okay, now my car's fixed, time to continue forward. So a few days time, you're driving your car, your Hyundai, and you're going to meet a girl on a date. It's that girl from before. And then suddenly, boom, it breaks down again. Two of the back wheels blow. The goddamn, I don't know, like it's got like a chimney on it. I don't know why, but the chimney fell off as you were driving. It's like a tractor. And you're thinking, oh my God, I hate my life. Like I just spent money on this and now it's broken down again. So you spend another $1,000. You're like, oh, I don't really have this money. Now I can't take this girl out. What am I going to do? I'm going to be late. She's going to go live with Chad or whatever. My life's over, right? The thing is, this is how a lot of people will live and, go into entrepreneurship. They will think, okay, what things do I have around me? What options can I take? What people do I have access to? What money do I have in my account to invest? That is the limit of my options. Because of that, they will continue to take poor mistakes, they will continue to waste time, and they will continue to not feel fulfilled by their business and spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day working on something at a very low level, but they'll be doing more hours because that's what they think is actually going to get them to their level of success, right? However you define that. So for example, when I first started entrepreneurship, I didn't have any money. And I was also scared to spend money because I'd broken money beliefs in my head. I thought that, giving people money online was a scam and all this stuff. Because of that, I only bought very low ticket communities and courses and stuff like that. The thing is, most of the time, these low ticket communities or courses are very low level and you're not going to gain that much value from them. It's going to depend on the creator and etc. But you get these ads online like, here's what you get in the $20 community. That is most likely going to be dog shit. And the things you learn in that, they're not just going to not help you, but they're also going to waste your time and additionally give you broken beliefs that you're then going to carry further into your entrepreneurial journey. So for example, in a $20 community you might buy from some guy, he might say something like, by the way guys, making money is really hard, so you need to put in more hours in order to reach success, right? He might tell you that in this course. And because you've invested the low level amount of money into it, but it was all you had, you might think, oh shit, that's probably true. Then continuously in your entrepreneurial journey, you're going to take actions that are aligned with that new belief and it's going to waste you time. It's going to make you think, oh, making money is actually really hard, so I need to work longer hours. I need to do this. I need to do this. And that is going to cause you a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of wasted time and money in the long run. So what's the answer to this, Marcus? You're like, I only had $1,000. What am I meant to do? Blah, 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 blah. The thing is, when you first start, yes, you might only perceive that you have $1,000. You might only perceive that you have access to this person. You might only perceive that, you have these options in front of you. But if you just stop and open your mind and instead of thinking, what do I have around me that I can take advantage of? Instead think, who can I get into contact with? What is the biggest step I can take? And a really good book that's going to help you with this is a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. I normally don't recommend books because I don't actually read that many books anymore. But The Magic of Thinking Big is a really helpful book. It's one of the books that genuinely changed my life and allowed me to start thinking, outside of this small life, outside of, how do I date that girl from my school? What's the best paying job in my local area? When you start to think big, you start to think, okay, I wonder what opportunities will arise for me when I join that, networking event that's halfway across the world. I wonder what opportunities would be present to me if I were to invest, say, $3,000 in a coaching program or, $10,000 in an online course. Now, once again, if you don't have that money, it's stupid for you to go, I need to get all that money and then spend it all immediately. But the point is that you shouldn't always look as to, you shouldn't look at what you have currently access to, and you should instead open your mind and think, okay, rather than, I have this and I need to take action on what I have, you need to think, okay, how do I actually become the person that can get that? Instead of thinking I've only got, 1K in my bank, 1 second guys, I'll make it pretty for you. Instead of thinking I've only got 1K in my bank, that did not make it pretty. Think, how can I get 15K for a nice car that's not going to break down every single day, right? When you invest into the higher quality program, or when you start to spend more time in the initial period into developing your character, that is going to result in much better progress long term, because you're not wasting time in the short term from changing your beliefs, from things breaking, from being told incorrect information, from low ticket products, right? So when you start to invest not just your time, but your money into the higher value, better mentorship training, or whatever that is, when you begin, you're not going to waste so much time in the long run, because you're going to think, okay, I've got this thing under my belt. I'm confident that I know it works because I know the mentor, or, I've spent a decent amount of money. And again, guys, money isn't always a equivalent to a good program, but a lot of the time, if you first find a good mentor, a lot of the time a good mentor's product or program is going to be more expensive because they know that it works, and they're going to charge a higher degree because they know that it works, okay? Typically, if you find these guys online that are charging like $100, $500 even for a course, it's probably not going to be that good because they don't have enough confidence in themselves or their product to charge that high ticket price. So you have to be careful. So initially, instead of thinking, I've only got this $1,000, what can I do? How can I make this work? You need to think, who do I know that could help me get a bit more money so that then I could reinvest it into something that I know that is going to return that a lot quicker and without the pain and the heartache? Who do I have access to, or what communities do I have access to, or how can I become the person that can level up in order to start making that kind of money so that then I can reinvest it and I'm not wasting time with constantly, breaking down, the goddamn, what do I call this thing? The chimney, the snorkels breaking off. All this stuff, right? You're wasting a lot of time here because you didn't take the initial investment seriously. However, if you start to take the initial investment seriously and you start to think rather, not what do I have access to currently, but how can I get access to those higher level things that will propel my growth further, that is when you're going to start making a lot more progress, okay? These are ticks, guys, right? So that is the basis of the second point. And once again, it's not about, 0 times 100 equaling whatever you think it might be, which is actually just 0, right? If you're taking poor actions to begin with, doesn't matter how much you work, it's always going to result in 0. But let's say you take actions that are 10, but you're only working, say 10, right? Compared to 100. Well, the thing is, I don't know if my math is good, but I think that equals 100, right? So you're getting a much higher output just because you worked on that initial investment and you made sure that you were taking the correct actions. It doesn't matter how many hours you work after that. If you're doing the right things, you are always going to end up in the right position later on in life. Now, can you multiply that higher? If you do 100 hours then, yeah, sure, that's going to equal 1,000, right? But the thing is, you can only start to scale something once you know it works correctly. You cannot scale your business. You cannot start to, scale the amount of hours you're working in the gym if your form is incorrect. You cannot scale your business if there are currently issues within it. You're only going to scale those issues, right? It's like the 17-year-old. I know this was me when I first started in the gym. I was like, I want to do more weight. I want to do more reps. I want to get bigger. It's like, dude, your form is scuffed. You look like an idiot, right? It's like, no matter how much volume you're doing, if your form is broken, it's not going to be long before you hurt yourself and that puts you out of the gym for a few weeks. It's not going to be long before you start developing inconsistencies in your muscles or something doesn't work properly. Then you've got to go to the physio because your neck's out of alignment or something like that, right? So when you start to do things properly the first time, only then can you scale. If you're doing them incorrectly, it does not matter how much volume or intensity you're doing, it will always equal 0. And this is another thing, guys. Once again, it is about aligning yourselves on the correct plane, right? A lot of people will just align themselves on the, on the physical plane. Guys, this is meant to be a bicep. It looks kind of like a hot dog that's been ran over by the shitbox Hyundai I was talking about before. But it's meant to be a bicep, right? That is the physical plane. A lot of people will think, I need to work harder. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to put in more hours. I need to hustle. I need to grind. Alex Hormozy, I need to do this. If you are not taking the correct actions to begin with, if you are not aligned, if your values are not aligned with the goals you're trying to reach, it does not matter how much you do, you will never achieve your desired outcome, because it's not actually what you want, and it's not of the correct vehicle or mindset in order to achieve that thing. So you need to align yourself on the physical and on the mental, and then on the value or the emotional, if you will. Then and only then, we'll draw a little love heart. Then and only then will you reach success, right? So that's point 2 for you guys. And finally, number 3, this is going to be really important. This is going to tie everything together for you. All right, so finally, following on from the last 2 points, a lot of people will believe that hard work equals success. But as you know, if you're not aligned to your values and what you actually want to achieve internally, you're never going to reach that, because you actually don't want it subconsciously and emotionally. So it doesn't matter how many hours you put in. It doesn't matter, what you're doing initially. If you are not taking the correct actions from the get-go, it doesn't matter how many hours you put in. It doesn't matter how much volume you put into the gym, etc. You're never going to reach your desired outcome, because it's scuffed from the get-go. And because you're putting in so many hours and you're not really getting results because you've been conditioned into the fact that hard work equals success, you are going to end up stressed as hell, right? You're going to be fatigued. You're not going to be fulfilled with your work. And most importantly, and, not goodily, if that's a word, you're going to be stressed out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not professional, I know, right? The more hours you put in where you're not feeling fulfilled and you're not feeling like you're actually making progress to what you want to achieve, you're going to be immensely, that's the word I was looking for, stressed out of your goddamn mind. Now, why is this an issue? You see a lot of guys online that are like, you should be hustling and grinding, you should be stressed out, the reason you're not making 10K per month is because you're a pussy and blah, 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 right? The thing is, when you are stressed, this increases cortisol. Let me write this down for you guys. Stress equals cortisol. And cortisol impedes, that's the word I was looking for. Impedes your brain power. Okay? Cortisol restricts your PFC, your prefrontal cortex, and it pushes you to your monkey mind part of your brain, your limbic brain, and your your brain stem. I forgot what it's called. This causes you to go into an animalistic mindset, aka something known as the survival paradigm. Let me write this down for you. Survival paradigm, aka survival mindset. That's what paradigm means if you're not familiar, basically, right? The survival paradigm. Now, why does this happen? Well, once again, humans are animals at our core. We're evolved to, walk around in the nature. You're not meant to be watching me on this screen talk about a bunch of weird concepts. We're meant to be walking around with our junk hanging out, picking berries from trees, living life, getting sunburnt, stuff like that. The thing is, because humans have evolved as animals, and it's only recently we've started doing this whole technological stuff, we still have an animalistic brain. And we have to think, okay, how does this animalistic brain react when we encounter stressful scenarios? And more importantly, what would a stressful scenario have looked like in our natural human environment that isn't of this technological modern world, okay? I'll tell you what it looks like. What does a stressful environment look like for the human animal? Looks like this mofo. God damn. This is not Garfield. This is supposed to be a tiger, right? There you go. So, this would have been the stress we experienced as part of our emotional human-animal brain. This is what our brains have evolved for. Our brain thinks that whenever we are stressed out, it is a near-death experience. We are going to die. This is why stress is so taxing on the body and the mental and the emotional state, is because our brains have evolved for a world where stress equals near death, right? Now, obviously, that's not the case anymore. We can feel stressed out watching a movie. We can feel stressed out doing our computer work. We can feel stressed out having a difficult conversation. But because our brains have evolved for this world of near-death experience, whether it's a tiger, whether it's, running out of water, our brains have learned to focus in and reduce all logical and powerful ways of thinking when we feel moments of stress, okay? So again, going back to what I was saying before, when we feel stress, cortisol gets released and this constricts our mode of thinking. You have to understand, guys, when you, let's say right now, randomly, a tiger started chasing you. How do you think you would think, right? Would you start to think, oh, I wonder if that girl's still interested in me? Or would you think, I wonder what the next steps are going to be for my business in the next 20 to 30 years. You're probably not going to be thinking about these things. If a tiger came out of here right now and started going, galloping after me or whatever they do, I'd think, holy shit, I need to run now. And you would only be focused on the escape. You're not going to be thinking about long-term visions. You're not going to be thinking about what is the best outcome for me. You're not going to think about how can I invest my money correctly. You're going to think about one thing, and that's going to be the escape. It's going to be, it's on the screen, guys, survival, right? So when you are working on your business and you're putting in the hours and you're feeling stressed out and you're hustling and grinding like all these gurus have told you and you've been conditioned into, when you experience this stressful scenario, your brain is getting constricted. It's like you have the goddamn blinders on like the horses and they're just galloping. They can't see anything outside of them. And because of that, they are not able to perceive everything else that is around them. Your brain is constricted. You're in a highly stressed out state and you're only focused on the escape. When you're only focused on the escape, you cannot make rational business decisions. You cannot make profound, interesting concepts up for your business or your YouTube videos or whatever. You cannot think of, something like this, right? You can't think of these highly profound concepts that are going to take you places where you need to go or where you want to go, right? You don't have time to think about, what are my values? How do they align to my goals? Blah, 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 blah. You're only focused on the escape. You're only focused on making the money online. You're only focused on, I need to move out of my parents' house. I need to get the money so I can get a girlfriend. I need to blah, 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 right? You're only focused on survival. And because of that, you're consistently going to make poor decisions because you can only make decisions that are focused on the short term and on the scarce survival mindset. Because that happens, when you make these poor decisions, naturally, because of cause and effect, that is going to result in poor outcomes. So you're going to take these poor decisions and then you're going to get poor outcomes. And guess what? These poor outcomes are going to keep you stuck in this survival mindset. You're going to, let's say you're in the survival mindset and you're like, I need to make money now. I need to make money now. What's the easiest way I can make money online? I know, scamming people. So you set up a little scam or you make a really shitty school community that doesn't give anyone real value, doesn't solve any real pain points. But you make it because you're like, this is going to be the easiest way to make money online. So you do that. And then people show up to the school community and they're like, bro, this was not worth the money. You scam me. Can I have my money back? I'm going to report you to authorities. I'm going to report you to school. I'm going to expose you on social media. Because you took a short-term poor action, it's always going to lead to poor outcomes. And those poor outcomes are going to keep you stuck taking poor actions because now you got to think, oh no, I don't want to, I need to figure out this school thing now. I need to refund this guy. Now I'm going to lose money. Now I'm stuck in that same position, except now I've got people after me on social media, right? The thing is, if you just stopped and you got out of this survival paradigm mindset and you thought, okay, how do I actually create something that is of value? How do I work less and use leverage to reduce stress in my business so that I'm no longer in a state of fear, I'm aligned with my values, and I'm actually feeling good about myself. I'm feeling like I'm making progress towards what I actually want to achieve. When you stop and you eliminate this stress from your life, that is when you can start to take actions that are of a higher consciousness, a higher self, and subsequently, you can start to make meaningful progress on your business that's actually going to result in the outcomes that you desire. When you consistently take poor actions, you're only going to get poor results. And the only reason you will take poor actions is because, once again, guys, of this survival mindset where you're stressed out, where you think I need to work more, where you think I need to hustle, I need to grind, okay? This was the thing with one of my clients. He was working so many hours a day. He was so focused on the tactics and the techniques. I said, dude, you need to figure out why so badly you need to achieve this goal. What does it actually mean to you? Instantly, as soon as he did that, boom, 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 starts making his first money online, starts making $1,000, another $1,000, right? Now he does this for his business, right? He's about to leave his job soon. It's only because, it wasn't because of the tactics. I didn't tell him, bro, you got to work harder, you got to hustle harder, you got to grind. It wasn't because of any of this stuff. It's because I told him, dude, what are you actually doing here? Let's measure twice and then cut once, right? Don't think about, What's the next step to take? What's the game plan? What's the blueprint? Think about, okay, what am I trying to achieve? How can I achieve that thing with leverage, making it easy for myself? And what is the most optimal way to achieve that thing, disregarding all timeframes, right? Because timeframes will always put you in a scarce state, because there is a impending doom that if you don't achieve the thing in that time frame, then you are a loser, you are a sucker. Then you failed. Even if you made meaningful progress, if you don't achieve the thing in the time frame, you're always going to feel as though you haven't achieved at all. So how do we actually, I don't know what's happening with my pen, guys, achieve, oh my God, this, right? How do we remove this stress so we're no longer acting from this survival paradigm? We're actually starting to make meaningful progress on our business, where we don't have to work so many hours and we continue to make actual progress that's so much more than the 8 hours we were putting in daily, right? Excuse me, guys. How do we do this? The first, which I've already mentioned, is to align yourself. I don't know where my pen's starting to break now, guys. Align ourselves to values, right? That's the first thing. You guys already know how to do this. I've already explained it. If you've skipped through the video, go back and watch that part now. Number two, though, is to remove emotional, can you guess it? Can you guess it? First one that guesses it gets nothing. Attachment, right? A lot of people think that if they remove the emotional attachment to their outcomes, then they'll never reach it. Sorry, guys, someone's beeping. Spanish beeping. A lot of people think that if they remove their emotional attachment to the outcome, then they'll never reach it. Well, this just doesn't make sense, because your emotions are only one part of achieving your goals. Remember, you've still got the mental, and remember, you've still got the physical, okay? So removing emotional attachment won't actually change the fact that you know what to do and you know the steps necessary to doing it. That's the first thing. Number two, so people think that if they remove the emotional attachment, then they're suddenly going to have no more drive. It's like, if I don't hustle and grind to reach 10K per month, why would I even bother doing it? If I don't have that emotional attachment, that fear, that scarcity, why would I even bother? Now, I've got to ask you, in the times in your life when you were so engrossed in what you were doing, when you were in school, when you were playing video games, when you were younger, whether you were working on arts and crafts, something like that, I have to ask, were you emotionally attached to that outcome? Were you, playing in the sandpit from a mental experience of, I've just got to hustle, I've got to grind in the sandpit, I've got to build the sandcastle? No, you were probably thinking, what is the coolest thing I can create? And you were from a non-emotional, detached state. I hope the wind is not bad here, guys. It's getting crazy windy. You were acting from a state of love, from abundance, from true power and presence, right? You weren't acting from this state of like, I need to hustle, I need to grind, blah, 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 blah. And additionally, you're probably thinking, well, Marcus, you're talking about removing the emotional attachment, but now you're talking about being positively emotionally aligned. How does that make sense? When you remove all emotional attachment to your goals and your outcomes, naturally, positive emotions can only arise because the human experience is naturally positive, right? If you think about a baby, when they're born, they're not born depressed. They're not born hating their lives. They're not born, oh, I got to hustle, I got to grind, I need to blah, 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 blah. They're looking around, bro. They're looking at a tree and they're giggling. They're playing in the sandpit. They're watching the little Thomas the Tank Engine on the computer screen, or they're on the TV. I mean, it's the iPad screen nowadays. And they're going, yippee, yippee, it's so awesome, right? This is the natural human experience. Yet this has been conditioned out of us because we've consistently been told throughout our entire lives that, when you grow up, work is going to get hard. When you get into the workforce, that's when the fun ends. You need to hustle and grind if you want to achieve anything in life. Making money is hard, so you need to work hard in order to achieve it. It's all bullshit. It's all conditioning. And if you continue to believe that and you align your emotional state to that, then it's always going to be hard for you. So to do this, we need to get rid of emotional attachment entirely, and we need to start allowing ourselves to let those positive emotions come through. So how do we get rid of the emotional attachment? Once again, just like how our values are internal in our body, they're not of the mind, our emotions are also of our body. This is where all our emotions start, and it's just our thoughts that explain the presence of feeling through rationalization, right? So I really want you guys to ingrain that into your mind. It's the most powerful quote ever. Thoughts are rationalizations of the mind to explain the presence of feeling. All emotions, all feelings, all sensations, they start in the body, and it is the mind that labels them and goes, oh, what am I feeling here? And once again, when you question your mind with an open loop, it will always shut it down because it hates open loops. So when you question your mind, what am I feeling right now? It's going to go, nervous. You are nervous because in third grade, someone made fun of you and you're a piece of shit and you know what I mean? When you ask your brain a question, it will always give you an answer no matter how logical or whatever it seems, right? So how do we get rid of this emotional attachment? We need to disconnect from our mind entirely and we need to go into our body. It is only in our body that we can let these emotions pass through naturally and we can let them do their thing, and only then can we remove all detachment entirely and subsequently start arising these positive emotions that are going to help us drive our work in order to see more success, right? So when we remove that emotional attachment, we'll quickly realize that, hey, I don't actually, I don't feel this needy behavior in order to make 10K per month. I don't feel this disgusting feeling in my stomach that I wake up with every morning that's telling me I really need to hustle and grind. You're going to start to operate from a loving state. You're going to start to operate from this abundant present mindset where you're going to start to realize, hey, actually, I think I'm going to work on this thing that's really going to help my clients now. And I'm no longer attached to what it brings. I'm no longer attached to the time frame. I'm no longer attached to any of this stuff. When you start to align yourself from a non-emotional state, that is when true growth will start to happen, because you start to operate from a logical, non-stressed out, non-needy state, which is going to result in your mind not being constricted and your ability to perform better, your ability to spend more time on your work, and your ability to create meaningful products that genuinely help people. Okay? I think it was Alex Hormozy that said recently is like, business is not a game of business is not a game of best man wins. It's a game of last man standing. The thing that will always take you down in your business or entrepreneurial journey is going to be emotional attachment to the outcome. Because if you are not where you want to be currently and you have that emotional attachment, you are always going to be stressed out. You're always going to feel like an imposter. You're always going to feel like you don't deserve to do whatever you're doing. When you remove that emotional attachment, you are naturally going to start to operate from a state of detachment, and you're going to be like, and remember, when you remove the emotional attachment, you still have the logical, you still have the physical. You're still going to work on your goals. You're still going to make meaningful progress. The thing is, you're not going to be operating from this negative, needy state, and you're going to start to naturally operate from a state of abundance because you no longer feel the need in order to achieve your goals. So how do we do this? It's through body awareness. You guys need to start meditating. And once again, meditation is not just about removing thoughts from your mind. It's about integrating into your body and letting yourself feel things. A lot of the time people talk about meditation and they're like, detach from your thoughts, detach from your thoughts. But when you do that, you end up in this limbo state between your mind, and if you're not familiar with this body awareness stuff, you're going to just end up in this weird plane over here. You need to detach from your thoughts and you need to end up in your body. And it's in your body that you're actually going to realize, oh shit, I've got some stuff here that I need to deal with. I've got some stress. I've got some uncomfortable feelings. I've been eating some poor food that is affecting my body and I didn't even realize, and that's affecting my work. Except because I've been living up in my mind all my life, I never even realized, right? You're going to quickly realize that once you start to become body aware, you are going to be met with uncomfortable sensations because you've never been taught to stay in your body. But if you can hang in there, if you can start to make this a daily practice of being in your body, not just through meditation, but throughout your daily life, right? So for example, I set reminders every single hour of every single day to tell me to detach from my mind. So then I'll go into my body and I'll realize, oh, how do I feel right now? Right now that I'm aware of my body, I realize my back's kind of sore. I'm feeling quite good though. I'm feeling energetic right now, if it wasn't obvious from this video. So I realized that when I go into my body, I feel, okay, I need to look after my back now. I need to be careful. Because if I wasn't aware of my body then, and I just stayed up in the mental plane, I might continue working. My body's trying to tell me, bro, there's something wrong with your body. There's something wrong with your body. It's causing more stress. Yet because I'm not aware of it mentally and I'm ignoring it, it's causing that stress in the background, and that's causing me mental fatigue. It's causing that cortisol to rise, and I'm not even realizing it. And because of that, I'm taking poor actions that are leading to poor results. And because of that, it's just a consistent feedback loop of negativity and failure. So I'm going to end this video on one final thing. My laptop is almost dead, so I'll need to hurry up. But this is really important to understand, guys. Hard work is physical, right? It's going to cut off. Physical. You guys know what I'm saying, right? Hang on, it's all going to make sense in a second, guys. Here we've got smart work plus detachment plus leverage. My laptop's like, I'm going to shut down in a second, mofo. You better hurry up. Leverage, right? I want you guys to understand something. I don't want you to screenshot this or remember this because this is going to be really important for you. This is mental / emotional, right? Here's the cool part. You guys want to do online work. You guys want to be entrepreneurs. You want to do knowledge work. This here is knowledge work. It's smart work plus detachment plus leverage. And it's almost entirely always mental and emotional. You want to know what the normal person's job is, right? In case it wasn't obvious, let me find another thing to outline this with. This is the normie job. Now, there's nothing wrong with normie jobs, but you have to understand, if you're an online entrepreneur, you're a knowledge worker, you are not a physical worker, right? You are operating on the emotional and mental planes. And that is related to smart work, not hard work. It's related to detachment, right? Not being attached to the outcome, not working harder. And it's operating from a state of leverage. It's thinking, how can I make this easier? How can I expand this idea to more people? How can I work less but continue to achieve the exact same results, right? This is the basis of knowledge work. This is the key thing you need to understand if you want to start achieving what you're trying to achieve, if you want to start working less hours but simultaneously achieve more. And that is the basis of potentially why you're working so hard, you're doing the daily actions that you think is necessary, yet you're not achieving your goals. So on that note, my name is Marcus. If you want additional support with stuff like this and you want to help elevate through those ceilings that you may be stuck at, you can find more about my coaching program with the link in the description. You can also watch plenty of my other videos if you're not interested or you're not ready for that. All my other videos are free. They are going to help you massively. Once again, I appreciate you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Much love. Catch you later. Bye-bye.